makes me happy to know how much people loved her.
Yeah.
Because she was like the most understanding, welcoming, amazing person like I've ever met.
Wetzel's family is currently raising money in an online fundraiser to have a celebration of life in Ava's hometown near Corpus Christi. In Lavernia, Olivia Daig, KSAT 12 News.
So last night, Governor Abbott announced what many are calling a moratorium on data centers here in Texas, directing state regulators to audit every project before it can connect to the power.
Well, right now, GMSA, a tragic ending to last month's Amber Alert. What we're finding and lurking to find out this morning after human remains are identified as 7-month-old.
Plus, we're going to tell you why Governor Greg Abbott, the Lone Star State's leader, now zeroing in on a San Antonio utility, CPS Energy, the accusations that he's throwing their way and how it could impact energy as we know it here in the Alamo City.
And a popular San Antonio chain, now the center of a federal investigation, why authorities say they violated child labor laws.
All right, and a good Wednesday morning to everyone out there. It is August 5th. Appreciate you guys being with us, starting your day out right here, the right way with GMSA.
Let's get things over to Weather Authority meteorologist Justin Horn. We got to get to this weather before we get to all these headlines.
Yes, and we're dealing with a lot of the same stuff. There are some subtle changes to the forecast I want to make sure you're aware of, especially as we're getting into back-to-school mode here. Let's go outside for you first. We've got cloudy skies here over San Antonio. It's a muggy morning. And as a result, we're stuck at 80 degrees. It is hard to get below 80 when you have cloud cover and a nice breeze and a lot of humidity. So we'll struggle, but I think maybe upper 70s for a few hours this morning. And then we rebound right back to 86 by 10 o'clock, 92 at noontime, and a high temperature right around 98. We may see some cloud development, some cumulus clouds this afternoon, but they won't yield any rain, at least not yet here in San Antonio. But as we look down the line, it does appear we could get some sea breeze action going Friday through Monday, and that means showers generally along the coast, and every now and then some of those showers could make their way up towards San Antonio. We'll talk about the sea breeze. What is it? What does it mean for us? And that's coming up here in just a couple minutes. But let's get you out the door this morning if you're one of those early morning commuters. RJ, what you got?
All right, Justin, thank you very much. Let's give you a look at your traffic authority. And unfortunately, if you are starting things out in the northeast side of town, guess what? We have got another round of some heavy construction that's taking place. Alex Gomez right there in drive cam making his way to the east side. We'll check in with him if anything pops up along his route. But right now, 35 right here at Thousand Oaks, we're seeing a slowdown of about 30 miles per hour for all of our drivers on all of our northbound lanes, past 410, past 35, past Walsham Road, and the Roosevelt High School area. This is going to be kind of a normal routine that we see throughout the rest of this week, especially over here on the further part of our north side of town, northeast side of town. There's going to be some traffic over here by Evans Road, all the way from Topper Wine and extending all the way to parts of Selma as well. So right now we got two different construction spots. Obviously this one spot, 35 for our southbound drivers at Evans Road, and at the other location that's going to be 410 and 35. Everything else across the city of San Antonio, not too bad if you're headed out on this Wednesday morning. Jeff.
Well, some breaking news overnight. An 11-year-old fighting to live this morning. Deputies say that a neighbor shot up a car in northwest Bexar County, seriously injuring two brothers and sending them to the hospital. This morning, the suspect is in custody. Sheriff Javier Salazar says it happened around 7:30 on Tuesday night on Arcadia Creek near Culebra as the boys were backing into their driveway.
Known to be a very friendly family. The phrase that was used to me is they feed the community, they feed the neighborhood. So I say that to say that these are just good people, and these two young men were just minding their own business in their family driveway, in their family car. For whatever reason, this guy comes across the street and starts shooting at them. It's extremely unfortunate.
The 38-year-old suspect was arrested a few blocks away, and investigators say that the gun was later recovered at a separate location. BCSO is asking neighbors to please check your video from your surveillance cameras from either 7:30 to 8 p.m. and call 210-335-6000.
Well, this morning, San Antonio police say that remains found last month at a Southside park have been identified as this baby right here, 7-month-old Osana Cisneros. She was at the center of a July Amber Alert. Her cause and manner of death are still under investigation this morning. Osana and her mother, Maximina Cisneros, were reported missing on July the 9th. The mother was found the next day near Parkview Drive, and then hours later, investigators found skeletal remains near Concepcion Park. Those have now been confirmed to be Osana's remains. SAPD says that this case remains active.
San Antonio grieving the loss of another young life.
Neighbors gathered on the northwest side last night near Babcock Road to hold a candlelight vigil for 2-year-old Ariana Trevino Martinez.
Natala disappeared over the weekend, and that was after we're told that she wandered away from her home along Allegheny Drive on the city's northwest side.
And within hours, San Antonio police say that they found the child unresponsive in a creek area behind Belle Ellen Drive, several streets over.
Last night, the community was praying, sharing support, and surrounding a memorial filled with flowers, teddy bears, and her favorite things.
I want to pay my respects to her and her family. I hope for a better outcome. But I want to be here for the family to let them know that their Glen Oaks community is behind them.
Yeah, some emotional moments right there. Meanwhile, KSAT's still pressing San Antonio police and DPS for answers about that Amber Alert. Why that alert went out statewide, since one is only supposed to be issued when a child has been abducted, while San Antonio police later described the case as an endangered missing person investigation. We're still waiting for answers this morning on those questions. San Antonio police say the case remains an active investigation and the family is cooperating.
Federal investigators accusing 3 San Antonio La Panaderia locations of breaking child labor laws. And they're also saying that those locations broke wage laws. The Department of Labor says that a 13-year-old was employed and a 15-year-old worked overnight, plus wage and overtime issues across locations. The company paid $45,000 in backed wages and penalties and says it is committed to complying with labor laws.
5:06 right now. Well, another arena vote, as you see right here, is starting to run out of time. Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones needs a majority of city council to back her by August 17th if she wants the vote on the November ballot for the city's portion of the Spurs proposed downtown arena plan. So voters already approved the Bexar County piece back in November, but the city portion does not require a vote because it's tied to tourism and visitor revenue. In a memo on Friday to council members, Jones pointed towards the city's various financial issues, like its current budget deficit, but opponents on city council say that an arena vote will not help with that.
This move, again, does not close our budget gap whatsoever, and actually it takes away from our bandwidth to focus on our budget gap.
Well, city leaders say that they still need to negotiate a final arena deal with the San Antonio Spurs and hope to wrap that up by the end of this year. The city is also still waiting on the results of a study on potential costs and revenue. Meanwhile, Spurs CEO R.C. Buford released an open letter yesterday defending the funding plan and urging the community to move forward.
Tomorrow, several major money talks are set to take place at City Council. San Antonio Council weighing in on a new pool of on-call marketing firms, up to $4.6 million a year for things like campaigns, video and design, and community outreach. The contracts could run up to $23 million total if all renewals are used, but spending would still depend on each department's approved budget. Also, the bond numbers being looked at tomorrow are huge. Council will consider authorizing hundreds of millions in city bonds and certificates, including up to $600 million to fund projects and refinance debt with costs ultimately tied to the city tax revenue.
Well, this morning, jail healthcare is under scrutiny in Bexar County as commissioners voted to back a plan to improve medical screening and monitoring at the Adult Detention Center. This is following an inmate death back on July the 15th. That is the 7th in-custody death this year alone by KSAT's count. The proposal would add an on-site medical triage area to that booking facility, staffed by university health officials, and includes hiring more nurses and exploring wearable devices that could alert deputies if an inmate's vital signs suddenly change. County leaders stress that this was a step towards planning, not full approval to launch, and say that the city, including police, would need to sign off on this before those changes can be put in place.
So we're getting more money for local veterans. Governor Greg Abbott says that the state is awarding just over $6 million in Texas Veteran Commission grants to 24 veteran service organizations across the San Antonio and South Central Texas region. The state says that the funding will support services for over 100,000 veterans, including counseling, emergency financial help, meals, transportation, home modifications, and veterans treatment courts.
Well, this morning, a Churchill High School student and her father are back home after more than 3 weeks that they were in ICE custody. Congressman Joaquin Castro says that 16-year-old Emily Chambo was detained on her way to church here in San Antonio when immigration officials called her father, Fernando Ortiz, to pick her up. Castro says that he was detained as well. Castro met with Emily inside the Dilley facility last week. KSAT has asked ICE twice for more details about their detainment, and we have not heard back. We'll get that information to you as soon as we get it.
Right outside with ICAM, it's 509, 80 degrees. We continue to follow up on the lake levels because they're still going up, believe it or not. And Lake Corpus Christi is the big gainer this week with 7 feet up because of rain coming down in the Oasis, or water coming down in the Oasis. We'll fill you in on some of the numbers and our rain chances coming up.
Also coming up, terrifying moments caught on camera why Texas police chief had to pull a person to safety after they were swarmed by bees.
All right, plus a new school year comes with some new schools for one of our growing districts in the eastern part of our county. We're going to tell you what this growth means for that area. 5:13, you hear the music right there. Obviously, we're talking about back to school, and school choice has been in pretty high demand. It is exploding. So here's some of the latest numbers for how many students are participating in the new Texas Education Freedom Account, or TIFA program, for this year for our area. The biggest number, that's going to be on the north side. Northside ISD with over 2,000 students there. SA ISD is almost at about 1,000, you see from that graph. And Judson ISD has nearly 800. East Central ISD has about half of that. On the south side of town, not as many students there. They aren't even at around 200 students. Texas Comptroller Don Huffine says that more than 85,000 students have participated statewide in this program. His report says that about 1 in 4 participants has a documented disability, and roughly 4 in 5 come from households that are earning under $66,000 a year for a family of 4. But there's also a waiting list topping 120,000, meaning that many eligible families still can't get in without more funding.
Well, in 5 days, East Central ISD will open its doors to 2 new schools.
That's right. The district, shout out to the Hornets, say that while some school districts are still looking for ways to cut costs, even closing schools, East Central is seeing some pretty big development and a boom out there, and it doesn't expect growth to slow down anytime soon.
Now, KSAT's Hannah Gonzalez joins us in the studio right now. Hannah, tell us a little bit about these schools.
Yeah, so it's going to be a middle school and an elementary school. Victor Elementary STEM Academy in Elmendorf and Valor College Prep Middle School in Hedwig. Combined, district officials expect 1,250 students just on day one.
The other middle schools now are over 1,200 students each. So this is not only going to relieve some of the pressure for those schools, it's going to accommodate all of the new housing that's moving in with some room to grow for a couple of more years until we build our 4th middle school.
East Central ISD officials believe the district's rapid growth is largely driven by its low tax rate. 2025's actual tax rate per 100 is a 93. That's just under Floresville ISD. But last school year, East Central ISD had about 13,000 students. By 2033, they expect that number to nearly double, exceeding 25,600. So in the next half hour, I'll tell you about the other project East Central has in the works as they plan for that continuous growth. Jeff.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Well, free rides to school start right now. District 7 and VIA expanding the VIA Student Pass program, offering complimentary annual bus passes to students 12 to 18, funded by a $150,000 investment secured by Council member Marina Alderete Gavito. Now, the city says that the transportation is a major driver of absenteeism, and more than 1,000 students are already riding at no cost. Passes are valid through July 31st, 2027, and students must reapply each school year. Applications are now online. Students 13 to 18 can apply on their own. Under 13 must have a parent or guardian apply, though, and a limited number of passes are available.
All right, at 5:16 right now, let's get you updated with your traffic authority. We're going to start with some of our TransGuide traffic cameras. Nice shot there of the downtown area where traffic is moving along on the upper and lower levels of 35 right there at Main. Again, north of downtown. A quick shot there at 10